I had to bring notes. So, especially in this down economy, right? I mean, it's hard anytime. Forget the fact that we have a down economy. You want to start something, you know, it's hard to do. And you got to give yourself a lot of credit for even starting something. So basically, though, that I wanted to tell you is that I also, even though, you know, I've been doing this for 7 years, I get frustrated like anybody else. And when I do, I call my dad. Okay? Because my dad started his own company in the late 40s. He was a dress manufacturer. In the late 40s and 50s, it was great, because that's all women wore dresses. But then in 1968, whatever it was, bingo, now women are not wearing dresses anymore, and they're wearing pants, because they can. Some people did. They were used to it, but then his business took a complete dive. And what did my dad say to me when I get frustrated? He goes like this: "Well, Carol, the way I see it, you got two choices. You can either continue what you're doing, or you can work behind the counter for somebody." So I continue to do what I'm doing, because I want to work behind the counter for somebody. I want to do this. I want to have the freedom. I like that. So basically, what I do is I have some things that I teach people, okay? Because there's some things that you have to have in order to own your own business and to sustain. You can open up anything you want, and you can do a lot of different things to try and make it go. But if you don't have the tenacity to make it work, it isn't going to go. So what I do is I teach people how to persevere, how to make it happen when those days are really bad. You can have 1 and 2, and Schwilkas is what I call it. Right? Okay, where am I here? So how to persevere to stay alive. So here's some of the things that I do. Okay, so working from home, it sounds really great. Working from home, I get to work in my pajamas. Every day I wake up and I get up as if I'm going to work for somebody. Okay, I get dressed. I make myself up. I'm ready to go just in case I got to go somewhere. Somebody calls me and says, "Hey, Carol, there's an event happening around the corner. You want to go?" I'm out there. I'm ready to go. Okay? And believe me, working at home, the pluses of it are great, but there's a lot of negativity to it, because you're not working full time. Your kids are calling you and saying, "Mom, can you do me a favor and come on over here? I forgot my lunch. I forgot this. I forgot that." The phones are ringing. Whatever's happening that's taking you away from distracting you from being able to do what you do. So here's what I tell everybody. I tell everybody that I work as if I work for somebody else. And I do it every day. Okay? You have to have what's called blinders on, and you have to have the tenacity. You have to have what it takes to say, "I'm going to work here. I am working as if I work for somebody else, and they are watching me." So if it isn't really somebody that's watching you, so it's God, whatever it is that you believe in, and you have to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Okay, so here's some of my words that I sort of talk about. You know, let me get my notes here again. All right, so you got your kids that are getting in your way, so you're going to work as if you work for somebody else. You got to be diligent, okay? That's the first thing that it takes, is diligence. The second thing is you got to reinvent yourself. When times are bad, you got to figure out something else, because you can't keep on walking straight into the wall. You got to try and make a right turn or a left turn. So you got to make it happen. So you got to make things work for you. Maybe it's something that you're going to think that's going to be a sale that you're going to promote. Something else that doesn't, you know, maybe it'll be a little bit less to do, and then all of a sudden, maybe you're selling more of them because you made it a little bit less. Okay? So today, my big secret is that less is more today. Right? So if you make your things, don't outmarket yourself. Don't cut yourself out of the market and say, "Well, it's worth my time, so I'm going to make sure that I make this $175,000 because I'm worth that time." Well, you know what? Maybe if you cut that thing in half and you're selling more of them, you're having more fun doing it, and you're booked out for the entire year or whatever it would be that you do. So less is more today. I want everybody to sort of think about that, because I know that time is money and all of your stuff is very precious and all of that. But you know what? Maybe it would be better to say, wow, I'm having a lot of fun what I'm doing right now, and say, that's where the value is, not necessarily in all of my time. Maybe you make your time worthwhile another way. All right, the other thing that I teach, and this is huge for everybody, because a lot of times I hear that people say that cold calling is dead. Well, I'm here to tell you it is not dead, okay? Because cold calling, the only way you're going to make your phones ring today is if you call them, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, I can make 75 phone calls in one day, and if I get 3 calls back, that's a lot. And I don't tell them who I am. People are weird today. So what do you got to do? You got to make it happen. And how you make that happen is you got to have somebody help you, teach you how to do it. I've been doing it since the 1970s. When my dad, when I first started working, and he taught me, you know, a stupid way. Here's a book. Call everyone in that book and update that list. And I had to do it. A lot of them. But you know what? I got used to it. And I have no fear whatsoever, because no is not no, no is not now. Okay? So one of the first things that you need to do when you're doing all these things is you got to get organized. You cannot rely, a lot of people today are talking about how you outsource. It's great, but if you have your own home-based business, you have a small business that you've started, you don't got the money to outsource. So you're the person, you're the chief cook and bottle washer, and you got to make sure that you do it all. So maybe you can't afford to go and have somebody do your bookkeeping for you, right? Most people can't. So you got to do it yourself. So how do you do that? You got to get organized. If you're organized, you're diligent, you're perseverance, now you got to have a script. That's where I come in. I teach people how to make cold calling fun and effective, and how you make a script, and how you learn that, and how you get over the fear so that you can make your phones ring. Okay? And it is hard work, there's no doubt, but if you're not willing to put it in, maybe you shouldn't be in business by yourself. Okay? So, the things that I say today to you that I think are the most important things that I have learned is, number one, obviously you hear me talking a lot about diligence, tenacity. You got to have what it takes. Okay, and it's what separates the men from the boys. I'm just telling you right now. Okay, organization, perseverance, and that's the key to staying alive in this business. So if you're interested, and I made it short and sweet, I have no idea where we're at right now. But if you guys have any questions, certainly I'd be happy to answer them. But really, if you really want to know what I do, you can come over to the booth, you can come over there, meet me. I'll enter you in to win an airtime 15-minute segment on the radio if you want to talk about yourself on the radio. If you don't, and you want to just get some commercials, I've got some commercials, like 16 30-second commercials that I can give to you for $150 if you decide you want to do that. If you just want to learn how to make calling fun and effective, if you want somebody to kick you in the ass, you can always come over to my booth. I'll be happy to do that.
Does anyone have any questions for Carol? She's great. I've actually been on her show, and my brother was on her show several times. What's nice is you can even be on her show while you're in your office and just phone in. Yeah, I mean, you should. Yeah. It's so cool.
Thanks. Well, okay, so I created the show 7 years ago, and I guess we have time, so I'll tell you. A lot of people ask me, how did I get into it? Well, realistically, a few years ago, I had a networking group. And my group had about 100 members, and I was outgrowing the group, and I was standing somewhere, and this guy next to me goes, well, I said to him, oh, you look really familiar. He goes, well, I'm Francis Bataglia, and I'm president of KFNX. And I said, well, that's cool. My dad's name is Neil Diamond, so there. And I can say that because my father's name is Neil Diamond. And so he said, come on over to the station, and I did, and I went over there, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that anyone can have their own radio show. I thought that you had to, go to school for that. And he's like, no. I said, can I have people talk about what they do on my own show, on my radio show? He goes, yeah. I said, can I charge him for that? He goes, yeah. I said, I'm in. And I figured the worst thing that would happen is I'd be in a radio show host for about 13 weeks. That's commitment of a radio show. And so I did it, and it was a perk for my members. But what happened was I was booked out. I was booked out for about 4 months. And I thought, wow, what am I doing? Why don't I just keep it to them? Why don't I just offer this to everybody? The show is heard all around the world, so I have from everybody come on my show now. I have from 1 hour prime time, I went to 4 hours prime time. And what I do is I make it possible for everybody to do what I call cheap and cheerful. So, I mean, airtime's really expensive. So what I do is I cut up those hours. I buy that time, I cut up those hours so everybody can come on and talk about themselves. Anyone who calls into your segments, you get their names and numbers from me, so you get to connect with them, okay? And basically, an airtime 15-minute segment really means about 12 minutes on the air. I either do 15s or 30s. 15 minutes between 3 and 4 p.m. When you come on, you can either do it there live at the station, or you can do it over the phone, as Brian says. It's $150 to come on and talk about yourself. And maybe give a giveaway. Anyone who calls in, you get their names and numbers. Connect with them. And then, you know, there's different things. Half an hour is a lot of fun. We like to call in. People like to call in and talk. A lot of people test it. I also offer commercials to everybody. I think I made your commercial for you. You get 16 of them for $150. You can do as little or as much as you want to do on the show. And right now, I can't even get anybody on my show right now until May, June. I am already sold out. Okay. So in any case, that's what I do. Been doing it for many years. But here's the thing that I love about it too, is that if you do come into the station and you do want to do it there, you get a copy of the show. Okay? So you get to use it for marketing purposes. Put it on your website. I believe that everybody, I don't care if you know, you can get a billboard and get nothing, you know? But here's what you do. You offer them something, you get you a little something out of it, a little tumult going, and also videotape yourself down there. I've seen it done on a flip phone, and it works just fine. And go ahead and put that on your website. It's called credibility. It's worth every penny. So that's what I do. If you'd like to check it out, come on over to my booth, and I'll talk to you about that too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so